Ethan, that time has finally come. Football season is officially in the books. The 2026 season is officially in the books. And with that being said, we have our Super Bowl champion, Seattle Seahawks. Congratulations to Ian Hamilton watching this right now. Uh, our, our resident Seahawks fan. Welcome to the AWR Recording Podcast. If you're new here, we talk about everything here. We talk NFL, we talk basketball, we talk hip hop, anything in the pop culture sphere. We're your two guys, the young Rottweiler, Ethan Hamilton, and I'm 007 Gage Sutton. Today, we're going to recap the Super Bowl, talk about the halftime show, talk about these teams and what their outlooks are looking like a week out after losing, either losing or winning the big game. So if you're into the NFL content and you're excited to hear us talk about the NFL draft, hear us talk about NBA basketball, a lot of music has been dropping. We'll get to that. Make sure that you guys are following us on all of our socials, subscribe onto the YouTube, and yeah, keep up with what we're posted up. Do you have anything that you want to say to the fans before we get into our Super Bowl discussion?
Yeah, thank you guys for sticking with us this entire NFL season. I know we had some some personal stuff happen earlier in the season, and just sticking with us, it means a lot. Me and Gage love making this type of content, so we're just glad that people enjoyed as well. We're definitely going to be switching over more sort of towards the basketball side and like the music side of things of this channel the next couple months. So if you're really into that, please stay tuned. It's not like we're going to completely ignore football or anything like that. You can follow us on TikTok at AWR underscore podcast, and you'll definitely see some of our thoughts on like news surrounding like the draft and free agency as it comes up. But man, I think let's start right into it. I mean, you already said it. Like, shout out to the Seahawks, shout out to Ian and them boys, man. I would say a pretty dominant win, man. They're deservedly so. Won the Super Bowl. They ended up defeating the New England Patriots from a score of 29-13. Double digit point difference. We kind of called this. I thought it was going to be a blowout, and a blowout is what it became towards the end of the game. And it really could have been worse because for much of that first half, the Seahawks were settling for a lot of field goals, and the New England defense was doing the best it could, not letting the Seahawks capitalize on any big plays and really get into the end zone, kind of keeping it still within the grasp of what Drake Man, the offense, could do. But unfortunately, they could never really get going. I mean, that Seattle defense had them in hell. Had Drake May in hell. That was easily the worst game of Drake May's career. Easily. I mean, he couldn't find any of his skill positions. I think for him, I think the most disappointing thing is that he's going to see that there's a lot of plays that were left on the field, especially in that second half, that it's like he was definitely seeing ghosts. And I mean, Will Campbell, man, rough day at left tackle. Rough day. That Seattle front four, most importantly, the pressure they were able to get with just those four defensive linemen was incredible. Because what that allowed them to do is just have 7 people back in coverage, 6 people back in coverage without even having to blitz.
Yeah.
And guys are getting bracketed, guys are getting double teamed, they're getting clamped up. Woolen played great. Witherspoon was amazing this game. Julian Love was great. Like, the Seattle defense, if anything, were MVPs of this game. And it's no discredit to a guy like Kenneth Walker, who played an amazing game for the Seahawks. But the story of this game was the Seahawks defense, for sure.
Yeah, I think you summarized it really nicely. I want to start with the winners of the Super Bowl, obviously, the Seahawks. Like you said, bro, that defense was amazing on all 3 levels, and possibly one of the best defenses we've seen win a Super Bowl, possibly in the last decade. We'll have to like really think about that and maybe sit with it. But the Seattle team really proved to be a juggernaut throughout the season, man. They were just really well coached and have so much talent at all levels on this team. Offensively, obviously, you know, we saw Sam Darnold come in, and I've had my doubts about Sam Darnold, but he did the thing. He won a Super Bowl. He shut up a lot of haters, shut up a lot of doubters like myself. And now he can call himself a Super Bowl champion. Now we also talk about the rest of the team. The offensive line was I think super underrated. Like people did not talk about this, how good the Seattle offensive line is. Um, because it might not be the flashiest unit, it might not be the best unit on paper, but they get the job done. They're really good at run blocking. They found a lot of patient runs for Kenneth Walker, who looked like Le'Veon Bell out there at
He
some
was
time.
he was incredible this game, bro.
He was awesome and earned himself a huge payday this offseason. So expect him to get paid. It may not be by Seattle. That's something to keep an eye out on because even though he just won a Super Bowl with them, he might be looking to get that bag after being MVP. So,
and deservedly so, bro. Because let's be honest, like we got to give credit to that New England defense. I think in the first half, Christian Gonzalez had JSN locked up. Man. 8 targets, 1 catch, and there was this one play. There's 2 plays actually. I think it was like the first or second drive of the game when Darnold tried to escape, but he just didn't have enough time, and JSN kind of broke away from the coverage and he overthrew him. And you're thinking, if he got that, JSN was off to the races and probably would have scored. And then another big play later in that first half where they looked over the top for JSN, or no, not JSN, Rashid Shaheed, where Christian Gonzalez literally leaps one-handed and damn near almost intercepted that. Christian Gonzalez was phenomenal that game. Without him in that secondary, and not to discredit all the other Patriots DBs, but without him specifically, the score would have been really bad in the first half. Really, really bad in that first half. And so credit to that New England defense, man, but they could only hold up for so long. I think what's his name? When Barner scored that touchdown in the third quarter, end of the third, you kind of knew what the game was over. Once he did that, because New England was not able to move that football. And I mean, just credit to how good this Seattle team has been, how great Mike McDonald is. That is an elite coach, an elite coach. And we're talking about some of the best coaches in football. He's in that elite category for me personally. Like, I think when you see this like new coming of age of a lot of head coaches that we grew up watching, the Harbaughs, the Belichicks, the Reeds, the just a lot of guys, Pete Carroll's are another of them. This new crop, Sean McVay is one, but Mike McDonald's right there next to him. I don't think people understand. It took McVay a really long time to build that Seattle Seahawks team, and it wasn't until he really he traded for Matthew Stafford. Was he able to get over the hump? Mike McDonald did this in 2 years. I don't think people realize that. He flipped this team around in 2 seasons. That's all it took. That's all it took. And that is so impressive. That really is.
I think, hey, to me, we're talking about Seattle, bro. You have to give credit to Mike McDonald, but you also have to give credit to the front office of Seattle, man, who have drafted really well the last couple of years and just taking advantage of these deadlines, taking advantage of money they have available. I think one of the big trades that people are going to forget about because he didn't make a huge impact in the Super Bowl was Rashid Shaheed. He was huge for Seattle down the run on special teams and offensively. And even though he didn't have the biggest game this time around, it's just it attributes to how good Seattle has been as an organization, the coaching staff, GM at every level, man. And yeah, it's crazy because they really could have won this game by more. Like you think about it, Jackson Smith-Njigba, we haven't even said his name. He didn't even get involved.
He was locked up the whole game, bro.
New England was doing a great job of containing them. And just imagine if Seattle was clicking even a little bit more on offense, if New England was off a step on defense, we would have seen probably a historic blowout, even more historic blowout than what we saw. And we'd be talking about Seattle as one of the best Super Bowl winning champions in the last couple of decades. But
I agree with you. I think, and also I'm right there with you, giving credit to Mike McDonald in this front office. You got to think what they've been able to do. They were able to find a guy like Tariq Woolen in the later rounds, who's a quality starter. They were able to double down at corner the year after and get a guy like Witherspoon, who is an elite corner. They're able to invest in a guy like DeMarcus Lawrence that a lot of people doubted how good his production was going to be, not having Micah Parsons on the other side of him. In 1 year, he is now a Super Bowl champion. And he called his shot. He said, I love Dallas. Dallas is my home, but I'm not winning the Super Bowl there. And Cowboys fans tore him up. Michael Parsons tore him up. But guess who's a Super Bowl champion? And guess who? He was a contributing factor in winning that Super Bowl, right?
Yep.
You look at offense. A lot of people like me gave them shit from switching to Geno from Geno Smith to Sam Darnold, because I thought that Geno Smith was great. I was wrong. Sam Darnold was able to keep that consistent level. They were able to, Clint Kubiak, what he was able to do with JSN this season was amazing. Offensive player of the year. The guy, JSN, is a bona fide top 5, top 6 wide receiver in the NFL. Taking that chance on Cooper Kupp, knowing that maybe Cooper Kupp has just enough juice left in the tank to help take us over the hump. And then going to get Rashid Shaheed and doubling down. A masterclass in franchise building. Because another thing too, Gage, this Seahawks team isn't going anywhere.
Nope.
I don't think people realize a lot of they're very young, and a lot of the pieces that they have aren't even up for contracts like that. Sam Darnold just got paid, and he's not getting paid crazy money. I know the Vikings are kicking themselves right now.
Oh, yeah.
I know the Vikings are kicking. Talk about one of the biggest losers of this. Now they're stuck with J.J. McCarthy, and Sam Darnold is clearly better than him.
Yep.
And credit to Sam Darnold, he bet on himself. He was like, yo, I was great this last season with y'all. I might have had a rough last 2-3 games of the year, but I'm still a good quarterback. I've turned the corner, and turned the corner he did. Like, he wasn't that great this game, but when Sam Darnold needs to make plays, escape the pocket, he was able to do that. Yes, he got fortunate with not turning over the ball a few times that it could have been turned over, but that's just how it goes. That's just how it goes. Sam Darnold was excellent this season, and we're going to talk about him more in a second, but he's a guy that's paid already. I think he has 2 years left on his contract, 1 or 2 years, and he's not getting paid that much. JSN is still on his rookie contract. Cooper Kupp was on a 1-year, 2-year rental. Rashid Shaheed, a free agent. The offensive line is still all there paid. The defense is damn near all there still paid. Witherspoon is still on his rookie contract. Woolen is a free agent this offseason, but I mean, who knows if he wants to go get the bag or he might want to stay. DeMarcus Lawrence is still signed for another 3-4 years. This Seahawks team isn't going anywhere.
Nope. They're going to be right in the thick of it again next year. I mean, shit, we didn't even touch on their special teams, obviously, with all the field goals that they were hitting in this game. But I also want to shout out the punter, Michael Dixon, because he was putting them in some really, really good positions in the biggest game of the year, having the Patriots start at the 1-yard line. And even though Drake May didn't play his best game, I think that has a lot to do with it, putting them in really bad field position. So with that being said, I think now we can transition to the other side of things and talk about the losing team, and that's the New England Patriots. Obviously, not their best showing. We talked about how their defense looked early in the game, and I think even later in the game, they were still holding up. But yeah, man, it was just a incomplete effort, I think, for the Patriots, where the defense showed out the first half, was doing their best to keep Seattle at bay and not let their offense go crazy. And they just needed something from the Patriots offense. And unfortunately, they couldn't get it done. They couldn't find anything in the run game. Seattle was stifling that. And Drake May had, like you said, probably one of his worst games. And it's unfortunate to see that the worst games that he's had this season have all come in the playoffs. And this is how narratives build, because Drake May had a great season. MVP. He was literally in second place for the running. And if it weren't for some jackass voting for Justin Herbert, he might be the MVP this season. But Ethan, I guess this question is for you to answer and kind of, I guess, future tell with Drake May. Like, how much do you think this impacts him? Is this, do you think this one run is going to affect him and, I guess, start getting the label of playoff downer or playoff choker, basically? I don't know. For me, I think it's too early.
I think so too, but I think it's important that context. Now that the season's over with, right, and we're able to look at a microcosm of the Patriots season, hell of an overachiever. Nobody really expected them 4 wins last year to become Super Bowl runner-up. All credit in the world for Vrabel. Drake May was able to take a considerable leap into becoming a good quarterback. But I think context is important, right? The defense is excellent. Top 5 defense in football. Like we talk about how great Seattle's defense is, which deservedly so. We talk how great the Texans defense is, deservedly so. The Broncos, deservedly so. Patriots is right there. They're a top 4 defense, right? They're an elite defense. They have an elite shutdown corner in Christian Gonzalez. They are so great. 2 great D tackles in Milton Williams and Christian Barrymore. A great team. But they did benefit from having one of the easiest schedules we've seen a Super Bowl participant have in recent history, right? And it's not their fault. You play who you play who's on your schedule. But I think honestly, Drake May is better off that he didn't win that Super Bowl or that MVP. Because if he won that MVP and he still played like this in the Super Bowl, we're going to be looking back. The narrative would have been this is one of the worst MVPs we've ever seen somebody win. I think history is going to favor him very much more so that he didn't win it this year, right? And it's not to say that he's not a talented quarterback. Am I ready to say that Drake May is a top 10 quarterback? Me personally, no, right? I don't think so. I think a lot of other quarterbacks would have benefited from playing the schedule that he did, and especially in the postseason, playing the teams that he did.
Yeah.
Right? A lot of teams that if like I said, the Patriots, not to say that they were lucky, but they were definitely fortunate in who they had to play. I mean, Justin Herbert was awful in his appearance. They played the Chargers, right? I'm not tripping. Or was that the Texans? Yeah, fact check that for me. But he looked awful against the Texans. And if CJ Stroud doesn't have one of the worst playoff performances we've ever seen a quarterback have, they probably lose that game. The Broncos.
Chargers, Patriots, Broncos.
Yeah. If Bo Nix
or Texas
plays in that Broncos game when they're at home, the Broncos probably win that game as well.
Yeah.
Like he didn't have the greatest of performances down the stretch, and I get it. He played elite defenses, some of the elite defenses that we've ever seen like a quarterback have to face through. And if it was I'm gonna put it like this, right? I'm willing to grade him on a curve. If he was just like mediocre and he was just somewhat so like just like skating by, I'd be like, you know what? He played elite defenses. He didn't help like really like he didn't win them the game, but also he didn't lose it, right? He didn't turn the ball over really much at all, but he was able to make some few plays when they needed it the most. That wasn't the case. He was objectively awful in 3 of his 4 playoff appearances. And I think that's where I kind of like stopped the whole like giving him on a curve, if that makes sense. And I think
to me though, like, do you feel like you cut him a little bit of slack? Obviously, this is his second season, his first year with Mike Vrabel, first year with Josh McDaniels. Also, I think about it for me personally, and I kept saying it during the Super Bowl. Why aren't they giving the ball to Travion Henderson? To me, he was the most explosive player they have on that roster. And then it started to kind of dawn on me. It's like they really don't have explosive players like that anymore. Like Diggs, shout out to Stephon Diggs for the season he had. I think a lot of people counted him out and said he was washed, that he wasn't going to do anything this season. But he's obviously taken a step back. And none of these receivers on this team are elite separators or elite downfield threats. Not even at the tight end position. And the O-line, like we talked about with Will Campbell, for I think as good as he was at points, we did see a lot of the weaknesses in the playoffs where he was getting demolished by some of these pass rushers, which is now going to start bringing into question whether he should play guard or if maybe they switch up like what side of the line he's playing. I don't know what to do with Will Campbell at this point. Maybe you just stick it out and let him play at left tackle. But like these are things that to me, I think Drake May will only get better as he keeps adding pieces, or as this team keeps adding pieces. If they get an elite wide receiver or an elite tight end, who's to say how much further this team can go? Because to me, a lot of the times Drake May would escape the pocket and like be looking for throws downfield. There was nothing open, dude.
But also he missed in this Super Bowl. He missed a lot of easy throws.
For sure.
He missed a lot of and that's where my thing is, like, if people aren't gonna be open, they're not gonna be open. But you gotta hit the middle. So you gotta hit the easy stuff, right? And that's my thing is like I'll put it like this on on a different analogy, right? Have you ever taken a really hard test for a really hard class, right? And you take a test, and let's say you get a 60, a 50, but you get graded on a curve. You're gonna get 15 more extra points. You finish with a 65, 70. That's reasonable. But if you got a 15 or a 20 on said test, the curve isn't gonna do nothing. The curve wasn't the issue. You just you didn't know the material, and you just did a bad job, and that's okay. And it's also important. I'm framing this from the perspective of expectations. What do you expect of Drake May? If you are now of the expectation that Drake May is going to be a perennial MVP candidate and he's a top 5, top 6 quarterback in football, then we have to grade him like a top 5, top 6 quarterback in football. That's just what it is. That objectively, that's just what it is. You can't keep grading people by this. Like I can't grade Patrick Mahomes on the same scale that I grade Baker Mayfield. Why? Patrick Mahomes got 3 Super Bowls, 2 MVPs. I expect more for him than I do a Baker Mayfield. So it depends where we're at.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And I mean,
I'm not being too critical on Drake May because I don't think he's there yet. Like I said, I can't in one breath say that he benefited from an incredibly like easy schedule and not really having to face elite offenses to kind of go machine for them. But also in the same breath say that he's an MVP candidate and I'm holding him to that standard. I'm not.
Yeah. I think you nailed it on the head, bro. Context matters in all of this. And when you look back at Drake May's season this year, I think there's going to be a lot of nuance to that conversation about how good he was. And the fun thing about football, man, is that we just get to see how Drake May's career is going to play out. Because to me, in my opinion, I think he is going to be someone who's going to be returning to Super Bowl conversation or to Super Bowls, to MVP conversations. I think he definitely has that talent and that ability. But right now, Drake May is not a top 10 quarterback for me either, even though he finished top 2 in MVP voting. I know that might be kind of crazy, but
no, I'm right there with you. I think for me, a guy that is kind of solidified in the top 10 now is Sam Darnold. If you think about his body of work, what he's done the last 2 seasons, Sam Darnold is a top 10 quarterback based on what he did in the last 2 seasons. I know people don't want to admit it, right? Because it's not pretty. It's not dressed up. But Sam Darnold has done the thing the last 2 years with the Vikings and now with the Seahawks. Like outside of, I think, like the 4 guys that I think is undisputed, really 5 or 6 guys that are undisputed. You got, for me, Mahomes, Allen, Lamar, Stafford, Burrow, and you correct me if I'm wrong, Dak is right there. Those 6 guys, you outside of those tiers, I think those tiers are a little separate. I think you got to put Sam Darnold in the same category, especially on the last 2 years. A Jordan Love, a Jalen Hurts, a Jared Goff, I'm trying to think of more names.
No, I think that's accurate, bro. Justin Herbert.
Justin Herbert's another one. Like I think he's right there. It's them 4 in that tier. And then if you want to include guys like Drake May, because he's second in MVP. If you want to include a guy like Jaden Daniels, who had a great rookie season and was hurt this season, I think I still need to see more from Jaden Daniels. Again, incredible rookie season. Was injury riddled, and when he wasn't, didn't play the greatest. Caleb Williams is incrementally getting better. I don't think Caleb Williams is at top 10 level yet. I think he still needs some stuff to clean up. But Sam Darnold's right. What Sam Darnold has produced the last 2 years, I hope that's what have you done for me lately, and he's been great. I think Sam Darnold is a bona fide top 10 quarterback.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, we need to start having those conversations because I mean, he's done the thing, won the Super Bowl, and I think he got over a lot of those stigmas that he had as a quarterback. He's gotten over his Jets past, which I think really hampered him. Yeah, I don't know. I think Sam Darnold is still one of those guys, like you said, is like in that second tier for me. He's obviously not like elite in that Josh Allen, Mahomes, Lamar Jackson tier, but yeah, I mean, to me, again, if you're going to be in those like top 2 tiers of quarterbacks, you are one of the guys who is good enough to win your team a Super Bowl or like get good enough to where your team can win a Super Bowl with you
Yeah,
as the
and it's not to like diminish any other guys. I think a couple, like I said, we have guys like Drake May who's been great to start his career. Bo Nix has been great to start his career. Like we have great quarterback. I think people don't realize we're probably like, I would say about half the teams are pretty happy with what they have at quarterback in the NFL. And you couldn't say that for a long time.
Yeah, I mean,
if you really think about it, like we go down the list, like I said, some teams like the Lions are pretty happy with Jared Goff. Washington's happy with Jaden Daniels. Bears are happy with Caleb Williams. The Seahawks are happy with Sam Darnold. Like we can keep. There's teams that are happy with what they have on that roster, and that's like 15 deep. So it's not a slight if I said some names that like might not be in that top 10. But I think there's about 12 or 13 teams that you can win a Super Bowl with them as quarterback. And I think Sam Darnold's been amazing this year because of it. I think, like you said, Drake May is on that tier as well. Yeah, man, he was phenomenal this year, Sam Darnold, and credit where credit is due now. Because I think now that he got that monkey off his back, because we said like if Sam Darnold doesn't lose it, the Seahawks can do it. And this playoff run showed me that he can put it together for a 3-game stretch. Was great against the 49ers when he had that oblique injury. Yeah. Went machine for machine with Stafford in that NFC Championship game. And even though he didn't, this was probably the worst out of his 3 showings of Super Bowl, he didn't turn the ball over.
Yeah.
And like, he still won by double digits.
Yep. Yep. And I mean, again, that's more credit to Seattle. Again, I think just as an organization for just putting such a good team around Sam Darnold, because again, I didn't think he was capable of it, but he proved everyone wrong. Seattle proved everyone wrong that he is capable of winning a Super Bowl in the right conditions. He's talented enough, and yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see like how the media starts talking about Sam Darnold now that he is a Super Bowl winning quarterback. Because yeah, I don't know. Like there are a lot of things to take into. Like eye test, is Sam Darnold better than, like you said, Jordan Love, or is he better than Trevor Lawrence? A lot of people would probably say yes because he has the Super Bowl, but I don't know. Like these are obviously conversations we can have more in depth as we get into the off season and do like quarterback rankings going into next year. But it's time to talk about the halftime show that had everyone talking. You know which one I'm talking about, Ethan. Kid Rock. Oh, sorry, that was the wrong one.
You talking about the halftime show that had 6 million viewers, but like only 100 comments and 6K likes on YouTube. You talking about that one?
No, dude, that was I messed up in my notes. Sure. I meant to talk about the one that was viewed by over 120 million people. Bad Bunny at the Super Bowl, and man, I just gotta say, and I think correct me if I'm wrong, E, but I think I speak for both of us as Latino men that it was awesome. That the performance was so inspiring, so historical. Like there's just so many things about Puerto Rico and the culture that he was able to get in there and just make the messaging so, I think the word is like accessible, intentional, yeah,
intentional, and he executed it well. I feel like a lot of people understood the messaging as well as they were able to receive it, you know, because I'm not saying just because you have a message and something that you say that is automatically going to be a good performance, right? But I think how he executed that message from everything from the stage design, the songs that he picked, the camera work was amazing. I think at one point he did like the Spike Lee, Malcolm X dolly shot, which was amazing. Yeah. Like every representation was incredibly important to me, and I thought was well done. Like especially when he towards the end of the show when he was talking about the like how much he loves America, and he was listing off about all the countries in the Americas. We thought it was beautiful. I thought this was a really, really great halftime show. I thought the guests were cool. I know Ricky Martin had tears all across the globe going crazy. Yeah. I thought Lady Gaga's inclusion definitely like had me eye raised, but I think I'll put it like this, right? I think it was a good moment to like, she didn't take away from it. You know what I mean? I think when you bring an artist like that into your performance, especially like I don't think anybody would have guessed Lady Gaga would have came out and performed a rendition of was it Die with the Smile?
Yeah.
In like kind of like a Spanish under background with Spanish instrumentals. But I think it was well done. She kind of did her little part and got the fuck out the way. She didn't make it about herself, if that made sense.
Yeah. And I mean, I think I've come to that same conclusion because I hate to say it because I love the performance, but I did not get the Lady Gaga include like her being included in it. And I was kind of hating at the time. I was like, that kind of like just threw off the vibe for me. Especially just because like Die with a Smile is such a I mean, not to say that there weren't other sad songs. Like Ricky Martin was singing a very sad song from Bad Bunny's album. Um, but I don't know. It just felt very different, even though sonically it sounded similar to what was happening. I just felt like tonally there was something that shifted for me. Um, but I mean, it seemed like everyone else loved it. Lady
I think
Gaga
I think it
was
got to a point like it kind of was approaching that. Like if she would have stayed and performed like another song, I'd have been like, all right, bro, we don't need to see no more Gaga. But I think she was able to do that. She was able to do like like I said, the outfits were amazing. She was able to do her little bit and get the fuck out the way. You know what I mean?
yeah, for sure.
I think that's what like kind of saved it for me. It was like, all right, she didn't make it about herself too much.
Yeah, and I think same can go for Bad Bunny because I think he had the opportunity to make it all about himself, but I think he really did take it as an opportunity to use his platform to spread a message of peace and love and pride for being a Latino. And I gotta say, I love it, man. I was very happy watching that and very proud.
I'm very much so. And the one thing I like too is I guess maybe it's very much like the rah in me is that like I love the whole like love and like unity thing, but I don't know, it came across as to me too, which I appreciate. It's like love and unity, but if you on that side, it's not for you.
Yeah,
And I don't want you to come over here, if that makes sense. And
for
that's what
sure.
I appreciated. Like I didn't want the all lives matter of like, oh yeah, we're all together if you rock with this. But if you don't do the other stuff, then cool, we don't need you. We're still all love with us though. That is what I appreciate. That's kind of the tone that I got from it.
Yeah,
Like we can dance and we can have fun and we can sing and show unity in that. But if you don't have the love for us, then we don't want you to be a part of this. We're not going to try to force you to come over here, if that makes sense.
yeah, it was beautifully done, man. And I'm really excited to see what Bad Bunny has coming up music wise. I have a feeling he probably will capitalize on all of the popularity he is getting from the Super Bowl with maybe another album or an EP. But if you want to keep up with our music updates and hear if Bad Bunny drops a new album, make sure you guys are following us on all of our socials: Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, all that good stuff. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the like on this button on this video if you like it, and share it with a friend, share it with a lover, share it with someone who didn't watch the Super Bowl. Which, what are you doing?
You're gonna have to show me.
Yeah. I mean, hey, if you haven't watched the Super Bowl, I mean, no need to go back and watch the game if we're being completely honest here.
Yeah.
But it's worth it to go check out the Bad Bunny halftime show. Definitely did his thing. Anything else you want to leave the fans with before we close this out?
Nah, man. Thank you guys for a great NFL season, a great halftime show. I mean, next episode we're going to talk about who we think is going to host next year. Because personally, I think they tired of the blacks. I think they tired of the coloreds. They tired the NFL America. They tired of us. They tired of us. So I have my own suspicions of who they're going to pick next year. All jokes aside, I said, but nah, man, great season, man. Thank you guys for watching us. It's been your boy, the Young Rottweiler, Ethan Hamilton, and my partner, 007 Gage Sutton. We'll catch you guys later. Peace.